In this audio, he spoke of the importance of national and international legal framework for the practice of international trade and business. We start by defining the person who in law is the subject cargo, holds rights and obligations, is likewise the center of imputation of action that establishes the right target, and is therefore closely linked to the personality, and that through them these obligations and rights are recognized. The subjects of law are classified as individual or individual. It is every human being who may incur obligations and acquire rights, collectively legal person or moral. The legal system recognizes the existence of entities other than humans that can be subjects of rights and obligations, as in the case of legal, moral, or collective person recognized, among other legal provisions, Article 25 of the Federal Civil Code. This article lists which we are moral people the Mexican legal system. The national state and municipalities. Other public corporations recognized by law, the civil or commercial companies, the union professional associations, the cooperative and mutuals, the association of group of persons, whatever name it is given a proposed political purpose, scientific, artistic, recreation, or any other lawful purpose, provided that they be unknown to the law, the foreign legal entities of a private natural. The Customs Act is clear and identifies the following persons involved on foreign trade operations, such as subject assets is the federal government, that is the authority which has the right to enforce the custom law and other laws and regulations applicable to introduce goods into the country or remove from, as well as those with intervention, the introduction, extraction, custody, storage, handling, and possession of the goods or facts or events arising from the custom office. The Act imposes both performance limits as obligations to do and not to do authorities, in the sense the active subject of the legal relationships can only do what is empowered to the extent of their competence. The Customs Act is the general, impersonal, and abstract rule that regulates entry into the national territory and the exit of goods and means that are transported or leave. Customs clearance and facts or acts derive from the year of such entry or exit of goods, as well as required to comply with those provisions which introduce goods into the country or remove from it, whether owners, possessors, recipients, senders, agents, brokers of any person subject having intervention in this introduction, removal, custody, storage, handling, and possession of the goods within the geographic scope of Mexican customs territory. Passive subject. He recognized various legal concepts such as importer, exporter, carrier, broker, customs agent, and dependent subject, financial sector, and customer dealers, customer service. The taxpayer is required to comply with legal assumptions contained in the customs law and other laws and regulations applicable to the entry of goods into the country or removal thereof, as well as the facts or events arising from the customs clearance, whether owners, possessors, recipients, senders, alternators, or brokers, in accordance with Article 1, second paragraph of the Customs Act. Some of taxpayers' customs environment are importers are the people in his name merchants import commodity, whether that brought him or third party draws for them. By exporting, we understand that people are on their behalf exported goods, whether they ultimately carried him or third take the one they were dispatched, dependent subject, which is required to meet the legal assumption contained in the Customs Law Article 1, second paragraph, and other laws and regulations applicable to the intervention in the introduction, extraction, custody, storage, handling, and possession of the goods. Dependent subjects are those whom commonly known as financial sector and custom dealer customs service. For this, it gives the bio-legal instrumentation and depending on the type of operating as sort of customer and subsequently part of the custom operation as such. The legal system provides a list of behavior that in your country is considered valuable assets for such a system within that society and in that time for which provides that failure to preserve or commands principles that sustain, nourish, and make ends meet and punish it. Coercion. Coercion affects the conscience to respect that is the internal pressure is driving to meet a mandate. If there is no spontaneous obedience can be demanded by force. Although it must be stated that it is a privilege regular use, predictable and according to the case, it is short, the threat, the use of force to achieve compliance with any mandate. When coercion is insufficient, the sanction to direct behavior in states where the law appears. Punishment. It is the act followed by the legal consequence of the breach, that is, as we saw earlier, the hypothesis of coercion, the result is updated and a link established between subject active and subject passive, while penalty is established when the taxpayer falls. Enforcement. The physical or psychological force of violence against a person that forces her to perform. It is the physical imposition of the sanction, moral standards. The sanction is remorse of conscience, social convention, rejection or expulsion from a social group. Religious, remorse to the higher self, legal and verbally punishment. The authority is an original sense implied respect without imposition, without mediate use of force irrationally. While the power gives a positional title or weapon, the authority required to grant and respect that can only be achieved by the worthy and committed action, consists with the personal values and institutional authority. All the power authority activity is likely to be imposed on some and as for the state, refers to the legal and political organization of society, implies the power to do and that is invested in the area and upper exercise. The designation of authority within the Mexican legal system individually on the one hand to be powers conferred by law certain people so that they can exercise control function aimed at achieving compliance with the law or function institution. State authority are those bodies of law under an arrangement with the powers of decision or exclusion they exercise and their declaration, modification, or general particular situation, or causes or distribution or impact on them, imperatively, unilateral, and coercive. Tax authority are formally administrative bodies have power to collect and manage tax revenues and review the status of taxpayers and goods to ensure they comply with the relevant laws, arriving the case, determining tax credits and imposing sanctions. Competition as the set of functions, power of faculty that correspond to an order in relation to the other and following into the according of law. The legal category, known as a human rights, encompasses the context set of powers, privileges, liberties, and claims, political, economic, social, and cultural civil objects, including resources and ensuring mechanisms all. Recognize that the human being considered individually and collectively. The state is a human organization consists of a set of organs, parliamentarians, political, economic, that are the true reflection of society national, who is credited or conferred a part of governments, the sovereignty, which manifests itself through the exercise of functions that are characterized by the only depraved, and they can only be used to meet the common good on the basis of compliance with the principle of legality. Jurisprudence are the respective solution of the Supreme Court of Justice of which and circuit courts have been resolved in 5 interrupted occasions in the same direction or a contradictory argument resolution supported by 2 or more courts issues. That's all. Thanks for your attention.